All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back once again, week number 9 of the NFL season, and Pete's Power Rankings. I'm ranking all 32 teams from top to bottom. I'm watching almost all the games, taking notes, keeping tabs on things. This is my definitive Power Rankings list. It's been a lot of fun. We're almost at the halfway point of the season. I think we're pretty set on what teams are going to do, what they're going to be. Now, some teams are hanging around, making some movement here, but I think there's some real definitive tiers here. Let's get into it real quick. Let's start with our bottom tier teams, 32 through 24. Let's just knock them out real quick, and then we'll get into the juicier stuff that you guys are here for. Okay, 32 through 24, not a whole lot of movement here. I know the Jags are finally all the way down here. They're really falling off, dropping them 6 spots towards the bottom here. Houston's your worst team. Detroit's right next to them. Pittsburgh, not much better. I don't see any of these teams really doing anything. This is the bottom tiers of the list. Panthers are a little interesting. Same with the Saints, Broncos, and Cardinals, but I really can't trust any of those teams. I mean, maybe the Saints go on a run. They're really talented. Arizona, possibly. The division's not great, but there's still a couple teams that are doing well. You figure the Rams are going to fix things. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, man, I don't know. They just feel something's wrong. And Denver, who the hell knows? Let's ride. They need a new coach. So these teams really aren't that great. Bottom tier. Maybe some of them find their way out of here, the NFC South teams in particular. But for right now, keeping them all here, 32 through 24. Let's move on to the next tier, 23 to 15. Kind of your middle tier teams. Maybe these teams can turn things around, find themselves into a playoff spot. But I feel like most of these teams are really just mediocre as can be. Okay, big movers in this bracket here. The Browns keep their season alive with a huge win against Cincinnati. They're still fighting for the life, though. They do have a bye. Really 2 tough road games coming up for them, so I don't know if they're going to be able to survive this. The Commanders are now one of the hottest teams in football, winners of 3 straight. They got a real tough test at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Really tough test for them, but I really like how the Commanders are playing. Good defense, run the football. Heineke does just enough to win them football games. Tampa Bay really, really down bad, but the NFC South is bad, so maybe they find a way to win the division. Same thing for the Rams, dropping them 5 spots, just got absolutely shellacked by the Niners. They're just not right. They are really, really bad this season. I don't trust this team whatsoever. So I got the Rams here out of my top 15 finally. Just bad. They do got to figure some things out. It's just a bad look getting beat by 20 at home, coming off a bye. It's just really bad. I don't know what they can do to fix this thing. The division's not great, but the Niners have already swept them, and Seattle's in first place, so they're really behind the 8 ball here. Maybe they can squeak into a wild card, but they need a lot of things to start going right for them. All right, let's get into it. What you came here for, the top 15 teams. We're going to start off with number 15, a team that's been in and out. They're finally cracking back in. I liked what I saw from this weekend. But before we get into that, give this video a quick like, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Really helps the channel out a lot. We're growing like crazy. Number 15, the Dirty Birds in Atlanta. Okay, I got the Falcons here at number 15. They escaped somehow with a victory against the Panthers. They needed a lot of help. DJ Moore taking off his helmet after a Hail Mary play to miss the extra point. Then the kicker missed a 32-yard field goal. Again, poor Eddie Pinheiro. But they came away with the win. Koo was a monster, 7 for 7 kicking the ball. So that was the difference between them and the Panthers. I like this Falcons team a lot. I've liked them all season. They're way better than they thought they would. Mariota's starting to play better. They're starting to pass the ball a little more. But man, they are a great running football team. They run the ball all over people. One of the best running teams in the league. And Cordero Patterson might be coming back here soon. I think the Falcons have a really good shot to win this division. They're a real scrappy team. They play really hard. They run the football well. They play decent defense. They really got to fix the back end is their biggest concern. A.J. Terrell's a little banged up here. You need him to get healthier. But I like the Falcons a lot at number 15, so I'm going to keep them here. They're in first place. They're in my top 15. They're a scrappy team. You don't want to play them. I'm going to keep saying it. Any weekend, you do not want to face this Falcons team because you could find yourself bringing home a loss. Okay, number 14, the New York Jets. I've been really high on the Jets this season. They dropped one to the Patriots this weekend in kind of typical Jet fashion. They've now lost 12 straight to the Patriots. That's really concerning. I understand the two different trajectories of these franchises, but man, they still can't get over the Patriots hump. Huge, kind of questionable roughing the passer call in this game that would have made it a 17-3 Jets lead. It gets reversed on the pick six. Patriots come down, score. Zach Wilson really has not been it, man. He's been really mediocre. He's got a huge arm, but he's got bad decision making. He turns the ball over a lot. He's very inaccurate. So that's a huge problem for the Jets. But hey, they did just get Jacksonville running back James Robinson to fill in for the injured Breece Hall. Figured it would take him a week or two to get back into the system. This should help them a lot. They still play really good defense. They held the Patriots to 5 field goals. So that's really strong red zone defense. And if you can run the football, you can keep teams out of the end zone. I think this is still a solid team. They're going to be hard-pressed to get into the postseason. There's two much better teams in their division, I think. But I like the trajectory of this team. They may need to find another quarterback once again for the Jets. But hey, maybe Tom Brady leaves Tampa Bay and you sign Tommy next year and things work out amazingly. Who knows? But for now, I got the Jets at 14. They're a fun little squad. I still think they're pretty decent. But maybe they're back to where they should be, around 14, 13 area. So 14 for the Jets, 5 spots down this week. The benefits of a bye here, I got the LA Chargers up at 13, up 2 spots. I think they benefited from their bye. They were at 15 last week. Rams bad performance, Jets bad performance. I'm going to bump them up here. Still a decent team. They're 4-3 coming off their bye. Hopefully they got some healthier off of the bye. They really needed to get healthier. They are so banged up all over the place. I hate their head coach, Brandon Staley. He's all over the place with his analytics, his 4th down play calling, and it feels like Herbert's all alone calling the plays, doing it himself. Doesn't feel like they have an offensive guy to coddle him, help develop him. They're running the football a lot better with Austin Eckler, and he's also catching the ball. He's on pace to maybe break the receptions record, and he's a freaking running back. He is absolutely out of his mind right now. Keenan Allen is coming back. He played last week. He's getting healthier off his hamstring. This should really help them out a lot. But Mike Williams hurt his ankle. He needs to get healthier. If they can get all these pieces together, figure out somebody to call plays, maybe have Brandon Staley not shit the bed, this team can win some games, get into an AFC wildcard spot. They're not winning the AFC West. They're falling off from what their preseason predictions were, but I think they're definitely good enough to find themselves in a wildcard spot come February. Okay, at number 12 here, I'm going to drop the Cincinnati Bengals down 5 spots. Man, I was buying all this Bengals stock. I love what this team had looked like the last 3 weeks. Really started to get the offense humming. The defense has been fantastic, but they ran into a buzzsaw in Cleveland, which is really weird because the Browns have been pretty piss poor this season, but maybe it's Halloween, spooky things happen. This offense really struggled to move the ball without Jamar Chase. They still can't get the running game going with Joe Mixon. The offensive line got absolutely abused by Cleveland's defensive line. Myles Garrett was wreaking havoc on them. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd still very strong games. I liked what I saw from them. Joe Burrow was under a lot of duress, and the defense, man, they couldn't cover anybody out there against Cleveland. So I'm a little concerned about the Bengals now. They are in second place officially. The Baltimore Ravens are in first by themselves. So they got to figure out this offense. They got to get this running game going. Hopefully they can survive this storm without Jamar Chase, but they got a real tough part of their schedule coming up, and it doesn't get much easier. So the Bengals could be in trouble of finding themselves on the outside looking in. Okay, number 11 here. Don't freak out at me, people. I know. The Seattle Seahawks, your first place NFC West leading Seattle Seahawks. Man, one of the most surprising teams in the league. I don't think anybody had this team winning more than 5 games, and they're already at 5 wins. Really nice win at home against the Giants. It was a close game. They needed some help from the Giants special teams, muffing and coughing up a couple of kicks there to help them out. But hey, Geno Smith, he was never good. He was a total first-round bust. He's starting to play like a guy who was a first-round quarterback. He can manage the game. He can make good throws that are open. Really like what I'm seeing from him. He takes care of the football, and they can run the football fantastic with Kenneth Walker now, one of the best second backs in the league. You thought they were in trouble when Penny went down. Walker's been fantastic. The defense has been better. They've stopped the run against the Giants. They couldn't get anything going, and the Giants' piss-poor receivers couldn't get open against the bad back end. Seattle's a really interesting team, a really fun story. Pete Carroll's the guy. He's the fun young head coach, even though he's the oldest head coach in the league. He's got that energy of a young man. The young players buy into him. I'm really impressed with what they've done. He's definitely up there for Coach of the Year, and the Seahawks have a legitimate chance to win this division. I don't think they will, but I do expect them to get one of those wild card spots, but it's really tough. The NFC teams seem to have they have one great team, a lot of pretty good teams, and it's just kind of a cluster, over there. Not a lot of separation between these teams, but I like the Seahawks, man. I'm going to keep them here at 11. Don't freak out. I know they just beat this team, but I still think they're slightly better than them, especially if the game's played at home or at a neutral site. Okay, number 10, cracking my top 10 still, the New York Giants. I know they just lost on the road in Seattle. That's a tough place to play, man. The Giants are still 6-2, second best record in the NFC. It's real third best record in the NFC, I should say. Really good team. They're now in third place in the division. That's the biggest problem. The Cowboys are great, and the Eagles are still undefeated. So really, really hard spot for the Giants to be. There isn't much wiggle room for them. They do have a decent lead in the wild card spot, so I expect this team to get in. They're still really good. Daniel Jones really showed how limited he is, especially with the cast of characters he's throwing the ball to. Man, they are just not talented on the outside. I would like this team to add a wide receiver, but they're in cap hell, so I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. Saquon's still the man. They'll get the running game back on track. The defensive secondary needs to play a little bit better. It was surprising how good Tyler Lockett and how wide open he was on some of those plays, but the defense needs to be better. Offense needs to be better. I still think this is a good team, but probably at number 10, this is probably where they belong. The New York teams were riding a little too high for a little too long. They got to come back down to earth. Here at number 10, I still think they're better than the Seahawks. If they play that game in New York, they beat the Seahawks. If it's on a neutral site, I think they beat the Seahawks. Again, two costly turnovers by the special teams really swung that game. So if they can avoid that, I think they'd win a rematch. But Giants here, number 10. Hey, number 9, I like this team a lot. I've been talking about them. I'd never bumped them down way too far. The Miami Dolphins. I was not jumping ship when they were 3-3. This is a pesky football team. They play really hard. The defense kind of was bad early against the Lions, but the offense stormed all the way back. Tyreek Hill is on pace to break Calvin Johnson's receiving yards record. Jalen Waddle had 2 touchdowns. And hey, the Dolphins are 4-0, 5-0 with Tua Tagovailoa now at quarterback. So they haven't lost a game when Tua's played quarterback. Only losses coming without Tua. If they can keep him healthy, if they can do what they need to do, this is a very strong football team. They're a tough out week in and week out. I think they're very limited come January in the postseason. When it's cold outside, you got to go on the road. You're going to have to go to Kansas City. You're going to have to go to Buffalo. The weather's not going to be great. Your speed's going to get stifled a little bit. Hey, Tyreek can still run. I don't know what Waddle's going to do. I don't know what the offensive line or Tua is going to be able to do. Tua does kind of have a noodle for an arm, but they play good defense, a lot of man coverage. They get after the quarterbacks. Very scrappy team. I like them a good amount here. Number 9 for the Dolphins here. I think they're just limited based on the division. They're going to have to go on the road for the entire postseason. So I'm going to keep them here at number 9. Okay, at number 8, the Tennessee Titans. I got them up 4 spots. Winners of 5 in a row. Mike Vrabel has turned this Titans team around. They have a stronghold on first place in the pathetic AFC South. They should win this division now. They've already beaten the Colts in Indianapolis. This is a really good football team. I like what I see from the Titans. Malik Willis started this week. He struggled quite a bit. It's still Tannehill time when he gets healthy. Definitely not time for Malik. He definitely has to get some work done. But man, the King is back. King Henry ran for 2 bills and 2 touchdowns against the Texans. And man, he's done that in 4 straight games. That's absolutely insane if you think about it. The defense is fantastic. They only gave up 3 points. in the real meaningful of the game, and it was off of a Malik Willis pick. So really, they gave up nothing. They gave up a late touchdown to Pierce, but the game was literally inside of a minute and it was out of hand. So they have been locked down defense. I really like how Vrabel's got this team playing. They have a good amount of playoff experience. They should win this division. They're going to be hosting another home playoff game in the first round. Probably good enough to win a playoff game. They'll get run over by the top teams in the AFC, but a really strong Titans team, and I think they're trending in the correct direction. Like them a good bit. They got to figure out the passing game, but hey, if you can run the football and play defense, you can beat teams. Number 7, the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to bump them up one spot. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. I know Tampa's had a lot of struggles, but I liked what I saw from Baltimore. They played much better defense. Lamar and the offense carried the day, though. They were able to score points when need be. Still a dynamic offense. The running game is king. Gus Edwards looked nice. He's now hurt. Kenyon Drake's in the backfield. They're doing a good job replacing J.K. Dobbins. I really hope Lamar stays down to earth. He works on his passing game. Stop turning the ball over. He gets very erratic sometimes with his passing game. But if he can stay healthy, if Mark Andrews can come back healthy, he got a little dinged up. I know they just lost Bateman. It's a little concerning. They are very, very injury prone. This is the AFC team that is always hurt, it feels like. Them and the Chargers. But if they can stay healthy, get healthy, they have a real strong chance of winning this division. I still think this is a really good football team. They're working on how to close games. If the Ravens can get how to close football games, they're going to be a real tough out. Maybe their ceiling is kind of low come postseason time, but for now, the run game's good, the defense is getting better, and Lamar is fantastic most of the time. So it's a good winning combination for regular season football. So I got the Ravens here at number 7. Probably about as high as they're going to get. I could be wrong, but I think these top 6 teams are probably here to stay. I wouldn't be surprised if they're the last 3 in each of their conferences. 3 in the NFC, 3 in the AFC, or 2 in the, 2 in the A, 4 in the NFC, 2 in the AFC. I'm messing up so bad, but let's stay here. Number 6, team I really like. They just made a huge trade, and they are now frightening. Okay, number 6, your San Francisco 49ers, up 4 spots. They've been a little roller coastery all year, but I think this is the squad that we're going to see. They absolutely thumped the Rams again. They've won 9 straight against the Rams, Kyle Shanahan. That's insane. McVay has been good. The Rams have been good. The Niners have been bad in that time frame, and they still are winning against them, at least in the regular season. They only lost that postseason game last year in the NFC Championship game. So they have their number. I absolutely loved the move to get Christian McCaffrey. He had a natural hat trick. He ran one, he threw one, and he caught one for a touchdown this past weekend. Fantastic showing from him. Kyle Shanahan's going to be able to drop anything he wants. Debo didn't even play. If Debo gets healthy, you're going to be able to line Debo in at running back, put Christian McCaffrey out at wide receiver. Who the hell knows what Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up doing? Might throw a pick trying to get the ball to Brandon by Ayuk. But Ayuk still, man, really good number 2 receiver, getting open, had a touchdown again this weekend. And don't forget my man George Kittle. He's one of the best tight ends in the game. I know he likes to bang heads and block more than he does like to catch, but he's a fantastic receiving tight end. So they got all the weapons in the world. Jimmy Garoppolo will be the limiting factor on offense, but Jimmy wins games, and especially in the regular season, Jimmy wins games. Defense needs to get healthier. If they can get healthy, this is a scary team. I got it at 6 here for now, but I could definitely see this team playing in another NFC Championship game if they get healthy and things go right. Okay, number 5 here. I've been keeping pat. I've been pretty consistent with this. Cowboys at number 5. Really liked what I saw from the offense this weekend. A lot more explosive plays with Dak back. He seemed to be running the ball a little bit better pre-ankle injury a few years ago. I really liked it. Zeke was out, and maybe they'll finally wake up in Dallas. Zeke is bad. Zeke is not good. Tony Pollard is a stud. I really like Pollard. I drafted him in fantasy. I was loving starting him this week. He is a walking home run. Tony Pollard's your guy. You got to start Pollard. He's got to get the majority of your touches. Zeke is a nice goal line power back if you want to fit that in. Zeke still can see the hole well. He just doesn't have that extra gear. This can take the offense to the next level if you had that home run hitter on offense Dak can make some explosive plays downfield. It's really, really wide open for the Cowboys. Now, they did beat a bad team convincingly. It got a little close. You got to be a little worried here. It's the first time the defense kind of struggled. The game was not completely out of hand. They gave up 29 points, and they gave up a lot of points quickly. Really, really concerning. Justin Fields ran all over them, so they got to figure some things out. It was kind of similar to what the Eagles did, running the quarterback, motioning at, trying to expose those pass rushers. Still a great defense. Still, it's a little concerning. I don't want to say concerning because it's a great defense, but you take note of it. You take note of it. They gave up 29 points at home. Mike McCarthy's going to be your limiting factor. He's not a very good head coach, so he's going to find a way to screw this up. But for now, Dallas is a really good football team. Got him at number 5. They're going to play number 4 here in 3 weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun. 3 weeks or 4? I think in 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, they're playing the number 4. We're going to get this settled. I think these two teams are neck and neck, but I'm just going to keep everybody pat because everybody keeps winning up here. Okay, number 4, my Minnesota Vikings once again. Another one-score victory technically, but they were in control for most of this football game against the Cardinals. Coming off the bye, they looked real sharp early. They didn't really struggle. They had 1 or 2 3-and-outs, but still, offense was really good. Finally got Dalvin Cook a 100-yard rushing game. And honestly, the Cardinals have been pretty good against the run game. That was the first 100-yard rusher they've allowed all season. So 34 points, a season high for the Vikings. All they had to do was kick the extra point, and they would have actually won by 2 scores. But the Vikings can't do that. They got to win by 1-4. The defense was really impressive in the fourth quarter against this Cardinals team. They looked like they were going to start hemorrhaging points once again. They came up huge, forced 3 turnovers, got a huge stop on 4th down. So I really liked what I saw from the defense. They started playing a lot more man instead of going away from that soft coverage zone. This is a very interesting football team. They've won 5 in a row. They're as hot it can be. They're at Washington and then at Buffalo the next 2. The heart of the schedule is coming. Then they get the Cowboys, Patriots, and Jets at home. So we're really going to know how for real this Vikings team is. I think they're the second best team in the NFC, but I think there's a very large gap between the top 3 teams and teams 4 through 8. I think, or 4 through 9 even. I'll say 4 through 9 are much closer than between 4 and 3. So there's a big wide gap between these top 3 teams. Seen them how you want. I think it's going to be Minnesota, Dallas, San Francisco battling to find Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. So I think this is a good team for now. Captain Kirk keeps winning games. Justin Jefferson's still a dog. If the defense can get better and they can put it all together, frightening on offense and just be okay on defense. This was the winning formula the Cowboys had a few years ago, going from a horrible defense to just an okay defense and a great offense. Wins you a lot of football games in the NFL. Okay, number 3 still here. I'm keeping the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, I know they bitch-slapped in-state rival Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's bad. They were going to do that. They were motivated to not let this lead slip away. They played 4 full quarters of football, which was really nice. A.J. Brown, 3 touchdowns. Fantastic day. He even got drug tested this morning after that, so of course he did. Monster day from him. Jalen Hurts and the team looked fantastic off the bye. I don't know how much more I can say about the Eagles. They're clearly the best team in the NFC. I do think they're a little behind the 2 AFC teams, but 7-0 is 7-0. You can only play who's on your schedule, and man, the schedule is really, really soft coming up. They're playing Thursday at Houston. I could see this team finding a way to get 16 wins. Dare I say it, 17-0. The toughest game left on the schedule is definitely at the Cowboys, but they've already beaten the Cowboys once. I know Cooper Rush is playing, but it's a very interesting thing. They could easily get to 15. I would not be surprised if we're talking 17-0 for your Philadelphia Eagles. Great all-around team. And honestly, at this point, the way the playoffs are shaking out, Jalen Hurts might be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC playoffs. So what was your weakness now is no longer that. I would be shocked if this team is not hosting the NFC Championship game come January. End of January, they're hosting the NFC Championship game. Who they're going to play, I don't know, but this team should definitely be there. Okay, number 2, they were on a bye this week, the Kansas City Chiefs. Great football team. What else can you say? Patrick Mahomes is the man. Andy Reid's got the sauce. They know what they're doing offensively. The defense is going to figure this thing out. I'd like them to run the football a little bit more. The only reason they're here at number 2 is because they lost to the number 1 team, but this is a really good football team. I don't see them slipping up against a team like Indianapolis again. They got 2 losses. They really should only have 1. This team's going to win that AFC West. They're going to have to play in the first weekend because they're probably not going to have the bye anymore, but I still love this team. They've got boatloads of experience, nothing but postseason experience. They got probably the best quarterback on the planet. He just does nothing but make plays, and honestly, he prefers being down by 10 than being up by 10. I can guarantee that. So this team is never out of it. It's a fantastic football team. They're just a little bit behind my number 1 team, but hey, the Chiefs could easily find themselves hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. Okay, number 1, it's your Buffalo Bills for the 3rd straight week, I believe. Ever since they beat KC, they've jumped up to this 1 spot. A solid performance against the Packers. Not a very good second half, though. Won the game by 10 points. Wish they would have won the game by 20 points. They were very dominant in the first half. Offense is a walking home run. You got Diggs, you got Gabe Davis. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Singletary, too. Running the football, and when the chips are down and the play is broken, Josh Allen just makes a play with his legs. He can run over people, he can run by people, he can run through people. He's just so hard to deal with. They do sometimes shoot themselves in the foot. They make stupid mistakes sometimes. That is a little concerning. The defense is really strong, and they're getting some reinforcements. Tre'Davious White should be coming back from an ACL tear, so they can add even more talent to the secondary. They're going to have to maybe trade for some pieces even. I love the pass rush with Von Miller. They're really getting after the quarterback. Greg Rousseau, the big man in the middle, Jordan Phillips, they are really, and Ed Oliver, they just are beasts on the defensive line. And the linebacking core is doing all right too. Milano, solid guy in the linebacking core. So there's just so much talent on this Buffalo Bills team. Honestly, Orchard Park, the Bills Mafia, hosting the AFC Championship game. It's Super Bowl or bust for this Buffalo Bills team. I like them. They're my best team through 9 weeks in the NFL, and they're probably going to be here in January playing the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. All right, that's going to do it for us this weekend, week number 9. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who am I too high on? Who am I too low on? I'm really starting to get a read on these teams, I think. Now, there's always a couple of surprises here and there, but I think I've really got it locked in. Top 6 teams and the top 9 to 10 teams are all pretty close. I think I know where I'm going with this. I'd be very shocked if all these teams aren't towards this spot at the end of the season. But hey, you never know. It's the NFL. That's why they play these games. Again, drop a quick like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Share this video with your friends. It really helps the channel out a lot. And we will see you guys next week.